Alright, so I've only reviewed 2 M. Night Shyamalan films before. Both of them I liked. Now let's talk about one I really don't like.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar.
Dare I say the devil's name, The Last Airbender. So The Last Airbender is a base movie based off of the show Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's about this kid, and he's like Jesus or something, and he has powers, and he can use those powers, only he doesn't know how to use them, and the Fire Nation's all like, we don't like you, we want you. And then chaos ensues, and I'll talk about it. Alright, so I have a weird relationship with M. Night Shyamalan. I love a couple of his movies. Unbreakable is one of my favorite films. And I also enjoyed Split a lot. But he has a lot of bad movies. And one of his most famous ones is, of course, The Happening. I guess also The Last Airbender. The movie that earned 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Last Airbender is considered one of the worst films of all time. Let's start with the acting. Holy crap! The acting is awful. There's no good performance in this entire movie. In fact, does this movie even just deserve a normal movie review? Because I could go on a full in-depth rage on this piece of crap. One of the worst films ever made, in my opinion. This is on par with Jaws: The Revenge. Let's start with what I liked. Nothing. I hate everything about this movie. Let's start with what I disliked. Everything. Everything. Alright, listen, one thing I can say about Split and Unbreakable, which is a problem I have with those two movies, is the fact that they have awkward camera angles. Like, the camera will linger on something for a bit, or it'll just feel awkward. That's mainly the thing. It lingers on something, or it's too slow, or something like that. There are a couple things like that. But those movies aren't fantasy action movies like this one. This movie needs to be fast-paced and good. And M. Night Shyamalan, who decided to hire him for this movie? It was just a passion project. Did M. Night Shyamalan really go from making, like, dramas like Unbreakable Signs and The Sixth Sense and The Village and The Lady in the Water, and then he was like, you know, I need to make an Avatar movie. I need to do that. No, you didn't. You hurt a lot of people by doing it. But just because the guy's directed some dramas, some great dramas, you're like, hey, let's put him on a fantasy Avatar movie. Because he won't make it boring as crap. It's boring. That's obvious, but it is boring. Jeez. This is one of those movies like Norm of the North and the Emoji Movie where it's like, there's not one overarching problem, it's just that everything sucks. Except for this movie, everything ultimately sucks. Oh, they do their stupid dumb dances before they shoot fire, who cares? Wow. There's also a lot of those laugh moments, not in a good way. Like when there's there's this one shot at the beginning, which I think is funny, there's like this big ice, huge sphere, and then he goes, and then, like, this girl takes his boomerang, and then he goes, no, don't do it, and it just shows her break the ice, and she just gets shot back. For some reason, the entire delivery of that moment is the best, and it makes it almost funny. I actually laughed really hard at that part. The rest of the movie's not funny. It's not funny. It's just not funny. The acting. Oh my god. I actually realized that the bad actress from Age of Extinction is in this movie. She has a great career. She has Age of Extinction and The Last Airbender on her slate. Note, Age of Extinction is her best film that at least I've seen. Because this movie's worse than Age of Extinction, and that's a given, right? Well, you'll find out how bad it is later. And at the end, he makes a giant... whatever. Whatever! Who cares? Spoiler warning, I guess? Who cares? Oh, he makes a big water wall, and he makes it kind of arch. Then all the forces go back. Then he takes the wall down, and then the forces are still like, hey, we shouldn't attack, because they're gonna kill us. Like, how about freaking surprise attack them or something? How about not be idiots? I guess one thing you can say about this movie that isn't a praise, it's just not like I hate it, is the actual CGI. It sucks a lot, but as it stands, it's bad, but not terrible. That's the best I can say about this entire movie. Seriously, the dialogue and the acting, wow, they suck. The story sucks. Jeez. Nothing in this movie works. How about the action? You'd expect that to be good. Well, we're thinking of M. Night Shyamalan, the drama director, drama or thriller, whatever. He's built to make slow-paced movies, not fast-paced fantasy movies. And there's this whole scene where it's this big action scene and the camera's just floating around it. I remember with Aquaman, where we did that thing where the camera kind of floats around. I know that movie came about 8 years after The Last Airbender. But in that movie, when the camera's moving around it, the action is fast. Like, things are actually happening. Nothing's happening. The camera stays in one place, and then stuff happens, and it looks like I'm watching a 360 video on YouTube. You don't want me to think your theatrical movie looks like a 360 video on YouTube. Like, the camera's just moving around this really slow, lame action, and there's actually action that's supposed to be fast. It's just like slow motion, flip, slow-mo, and it sucks. If The Happening didn't break you on M. Night Shyamalan, I don't know what will. Like, The Happening happens. Not intended. And then The Last Airbender happens, and we're all like, you're done. Then we see the After Earth, and we're like, that actually looks interesting. Then we see it, and we're like, yikes! Then we're like, no, don't. And then we see the visit. I think it was The Visit, yeah. And then we're like, oh, he's actually kind of good now. And then we see Split, and we're like, oh, you're actually really good. Then we see Glass. No, we don't. That hasn't come out yet. I'm running out of things to say about this movie. It just sucks. Like, it's not only bad, it's not only terrible, it's one of the worst films ever made. Because in the end, I don't know how the director of Unbreakable made this pile of crap. Nothing in this movie works. The dialogue sucks, the acting sucks, the visuals most of the time suck, the camera is awkward, it floats around the stupid, slow action, not at all entertaining action. It's boring, and it's stupid. And yeah, you might be thinking, he's going to just give it the 1 out of 10, not going for the heart. No, this movie's one of the worst films ever made. You think I ain't skipping out of it? No! The Last Airbender is a 0. Yo, you know that. Like, that makes sense, kind of. I mean, yes, is it worse than Jaws the Revenge? No. Because that's Jaws the Revenge. Just everything, like, when I even think about Jaws the Revenge, I'm just like... But then I think about this movie, I'm just like, oh. Yeah, that was bad. So what do you guys think on Avatar The Last Airbender? Let me know in the comment section below if you've seen Avatar The Last Airbender. How did you survive? I don't think I actually survived. I think I actually died. See you guys next time. Bye.